Hi, my name is Mackenzie Harvey, your District Human Resource Director. I want to personally thank you for the opportunity for my Human Resource team and I to work alongside you and discuss the appropriate actions to deal with this employee issue here at Lots of Goods. I understand that in this issue, you've had a morning shift employee who has failed to arrive on time due to some transportation issues. It is also my understanding that these issues are reoccurring and has begun to affect the colleagues around him and the other employees. So, to dive straight in, allow me to help you visualize our transportation system to success in today's meeting. It is vital to understand what my role is as the Human Resource Director to better help you and assist you with this dilemma. So the nature of my position is to establish and to carry out management principles in order to manage others in the company. If we do not have policies and procedures in place, it makes it very, very difficult for our employees to be successful. It is also my team's responsibility to assist the employees with any conflicts that may arise and provide them resources, which brings me to the next step in success. When it comes to ethics in human resources, it is vital that we are training and raising up individuals with a clear guide for ethical behavior, meaning we need visible policies that we are carrying out day to day. In this situation, a few of the morning shift employees have expressed that they're not very happy with Jerry's late arrival and have asked for some change to happen. It wouldn't be ethical for you to discuss anything or any accommodations you have made for Jerry, which leads us to our next step in success, our employee expectations. From the HR department, we expect you, the employer, to document all actionable discussions you've had with Jerry. Documenting and writing out these actions talked about in those meetings provides the employee with some tangible information that they can refer back to if they're ever confused or have any questions. But these documents also provide you, the employer, with some proof. If the employee questions why certain actions were taken or denies that the conversation even happened, you have some evidence and some documentation to back up those conversations. So we expect you as the employer to record and take down these certain discussions. So to fix this particular issue with Jerry, I have two recommendations, which brings me to my next point. My first recommendation is for you to meet with Jerry again. In this meeting, you would need to identify a schedule that he would be available to be on time for. This scheduled time, however, should not make it challenging for you as the employer. If the times Jerry is available is inconvenient for you and the store team, then it wouldn't be that great of a choice to keep him as an employee. It is also very important that as you work through this issue with Jerry, you need to keep a record of this meeting and attach it to his employee file for future reference. My second recommendation gives a little bit more empathy to Jerry. We all understand that life gets a little bit hard, and for some, it's harder to get back up and to keep going. So I recommend that you encourage Jerry to explore some other forms of transportation that will enable him to get to work on time in the morning if the other scheduled times are not an option for him. You can also help Jerry investigate what resources might be available, like rideshare or Uber, or even helping him contact a local nonprofit that is willing to help with these transportation issues. For both of these recommendations, like I've mentioned before, it should be documented in writing, but then presented to the employee for agreement and a signature. Then the original should be maintained for the store files, and a copy should be provided to Jerry. The last and final step to our transportation system is to treat every one of our employees with dignity and respect. Like I've said before, we understand that life gets a little rough, and in this situation, Jerry is having a rough time with transportation due to the loss of his car. So we need to treat Jerry as if he is still the respected man we knew before this problem came about. Not mentioning this situation to others is also another way that we can respect him and his confidentiality. When it comes to other employees and their concern for Jerry's situation, you must keep it confidential, but still treat them with respect by saying, "We're working to solve this issue," and nothing more. You are respecting them by saying that action is being taken, but you're not giving them unnecessary information. So I believe that if you and your team take into consideration all and enact the steps that I've presented to you today, you can transport you and your employees to success. I believe you did have some questions though before we conclude this meeting. One of your first questions was it fair to give Jerry a preferred schedule but not offer it to other employees? And I do not think that it would be fair or appropriate to do something that you're unwilling to do for others. So I believe that the actions of the employer must be consistent. While you may create some special circumstances for Jerry, it would be important to be open to doing the same for other employees in these challenging situations. Your second question was, why do we need to keep Jerry's transportation issue confidential? And I believe, as all other HR directors believe, all human resource matters must be confidential and cannot be shared with other employees. HR matters should never be discussed with other people outside of the employer and the employee relationship. The last question that you did have was, how should we communicate the recommendations to Jerry? And I believe that an in-person meeting, which should be documented in written form, as always, is the best way to communicate with Jerry. You would then ask Jerry to sign it and acknowledge the conversation. The document should also be given to him for his records and his future reference. Documenting your discussion also provides backup that the discussion actually took place. So if you do have any more questions or need help dealing with any other matter, please feel free to reach out to me. That is what we're here to do. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to hearing about the good news from Jerry. Oh my gosh, it's